Dear children, I am Manjula from BLR High School, Sirikere. As you all know, I am dealing with the subject science. So in that, biology. So to start with the lesson, I will ask you a simple question. So, what do you need to construct a house? Or what a building is made up of? We will go and say, the construction of building needs cement, brick, iron and sand. So similarly, when I take up living organisms, so which are the examples of living organisms? You will say microorganisms, plants and animals. So what do all these living organisms are made up of? So you will definitely say all these living organisms are made up of the basic structural and functional unit called cell. So cell is a fundamental unit of life. So the definition goes like this. Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. So the cell consists of three main parts. So outer cell wall or cell membrane. So inside that there is a nucleus and cytoplasm. Children, in 1665, a scientist by name Robert Hooke, he invented the cell by observing the peelings of the card. So he observed that the peeling of the card with the help of his own constructed or self-made microscope. So in that he observed tiny compartment-like structures. So he coined a term called cell. Later in 1674, another scientist by name Anton von Leeuwenhoek, he further studied in detail about the cell and he concluded different size and shape of the cells. So what do the cell consist of? So inside the cell, the cytoplasm consists of nearly all these cell organelles. So what a cell consists of? So I have listed nearly 12 parts of the cell. Here nucleus, mitochondria, cytoplasm, lysosomes, ribosomes, endoplasmic reticulum, plastids, cell wall, Golgi apparatus, vacuoles, cell membrane and chloroplast. So here when you see a cell, here is the structure of the cell. You already know how to draw the structure of the cell in your 7th standard and in 8th standard. So dear children, in 9th standard, again you have to learn this structure of plant cell and animal cell. So here outer cell wall, you can see, notice the outer cell wall and inside that there is a cell membrane and there is a big sized nucleus and around that you find a cytoplasm and you see here the cell organelles. So cell organelles like endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, then this is the chloroplast. So we will be discussing all these cell organelles in detail. So when you take up the cell membrane and cell wall, so in this chapter you are learning three important concepts like osmosis, diffusion and active transport. Active transport has not been explained, but you are learning those first two processes, namely diffusion and osmosis. So we will be learning later part of the lesson. So first we will be learning one by one all the different cell organelles of the cell.
Let us study in detail about the lesson Cell, Basic Unit of Life, otherwise the Fundamental Unit of Life. So we are learning about the prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells, multicellular organisms, cell membrane and cell wall, the cell organelles like chloroplast, mitochondria, vacuoles, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi apparatus, nucleus, and about the chromosomes. We will have a look into the discovery of the cell. In 1665, Robert Hooke, an English scientist, saw cells in a thin slice of cork with his crude microscope. He observed as honeycomb-like structure and named them as the cellulae or cells. His discovery indicated for the first time that living organisms consisted of number of small structures or units. To know about the history of the cell, in the year 1665, Robert Hooke discovered the cell. In 1674, Antony van Leeuwenhoek studied living cells for the first time. In 1831, Robert Brown discovered and named nucleus of a cell. In 1838-39, N.J. Schleiden and Schwann formulated cell theory. In 1855, Rudolf Virchow stated, omnis cellula is cellula. What are living organisms are made up of? Just as building is made up of bricks, the body of all living organisms is made up of cells. Based on the cellular organization, some organisms are made up of single cells called unicellular organisms. Example, Chlamydomonas, amoeba, paramecium. Organisms which are made up of more than one cell are called multicellular organisms. Irrespective of unicellular or multicellular organisms, the cells perform similar basic functions for their survival. To study the cells, we need to have the electronic gadgets. Cells are too small to be seen by naked eye. They are studied with the help of the microscopes. Microscopes are high-resolution instruments that are used for observing fine details of very small objects. Two common types of microscopes are light microscope, so magnification range from 100 to 1500. Then electron microscope, so magnification ranges from 1 lakh to 5 lakhs. You can observe the simple compound microscope and an electron microscope. To look at the shape and size of the cells, shape and size of the cells vary, but all of these are ultimately determined by the specific function. Some cells can change their shapes, amoeba, for example, WCC, but plants and animals have almost fixed shapes. Smallest cell is of a mycoplasma, largest cell is of a ostrich egg. Longest animal cell is nerve cell. A micrometer or micron is 1/1000th of a millimeter. You can see the scale of life. To know the difference between unicellular and multicellular organisms. Unicellular organisms are made up of single cell able to perform all the life processes like obtaining food, respiration, excretion, growth and reproduction. Unicellular organisms cannot be divided into cells. They also contain acellular organisms. Example, amoeba, paramecium. On the other side, multicellular organisms are made up of many number of cells. Cells have a similar basic structure and similar basic life activities. Different shapes and are aggregated to form different tissues. Tissues form organs and organs give rise to organ systems that perform specific function. For example, plants, animals and fungi. The cell performs all life function like intake of food materials, excretion, metabolism, respiration, irritability, etc. So there is a division of labor. Cell usually possesses a number of components called cell organelles. Each cell organelle performs different functions. For example, clearing waste material, protein synthesis, or a lipid synthesis. A cell is a tiny mass of protoplasm which is surrounded by a membrane and is capable of performing all functions of life. A typical cell is formed of three parts: plasma membrane to create separate environment, nucleus for its control, and cytoplasm which possesses metabolic machinery. So we can learn more about the plasma membrane. And this is the ultrastructure of the plasma membrane. So transport across the membrane goes like this. So you can look at the active and passive transport. So we'll learn about the importance of diffusion. Helps in spread of different substances throughout cytoplasm of cell. Osmosis is a type of diffusion where only solvent is allowed to diffuse. Diffusion helps in exchange of respiratory gases between the cells and their environment. Transpiration is also a diffusion process. Flowers spread aroma through diffusion to attract insects and other animals for pollination. So osmosis is defined as the diffusion of water or solvent across the semi-permeable membrane from a region of its higher concentration to region of its lower concentration. So plasma membrane functions as semi-permeable membrane. How diffusion differs from osmosis? Diffusion can take place in solid, liquid and gases. It does not involve any semi-permeable membrane. It equalizes the concentration of substances. Different substances diffuse independent of one another. Diffusion is not much influenced by the presence of other substances, whereas osmosis takes place only in liquid medium. It requires semi-permeable membrane. It does not equalize the concentration of solvent on the two sides of the membrane. Only solvent undergoes diffusion, so it is influenced by the concentration and type of solute particles. So you have three different types of osmotic solutions. They are hypotonic solution, isotonic solution and hypertonic solution. See, I have explained how a cell behaves when it is kept inside the hypotonic, hypertonic or isotonic solution. So there are two types of osmosis, endosmosis and exosmosis. Endosmosis, osmotic entry of water into the cell or system. So exosmosis is osmotic withdrawal of water from a cell or system. When we place the cell in higher concentration, the water comes out of the cell by a process called exosmosis. When we place the cell in lower concentration, the water enters into the cell by a process called endosmosis. So cell wall is a rigid, semi-elastic, semi-transparent and protective covering present outside the plasma membrane in plant cells, fungi and prokaryotes. Made up of cellulose in plants, fungi, fungal cellulose and chitin in fungi. Extra deposition of lignin, suberin and cutin may be present during secondary thickening. A cementing layer called a middle lamella is present between the walls of the two adjacent cells. Cell wall possesses small pores through which adjacent cells remain connected, called plasmodesmata. When we look at the role of cell wall, it provides a shape to the cells, it provides mechanical strength to plants, protects against pathogens and mechanical injury. Growth of the cell wall determines the growth of the cell. Cell wall prevents bursting of cell on endosmosis. Ability to withstand a lot of radiation in nature. Does cell wall and plasma membrane are similar in function? We will have a look at it. Cell wall occurs in plant cells, lies on the outside of the cell. It is rigid and thick. Cell wall is permeable, formed of cellulose, hemicellulose and pectin, provide protection and strength to the cell. Whereas plasma membrane, it occurs in plant and animal cells, lies on the outside of animal cells and inside in plants. It is flexible and thin, selectively permeable, lipids and proteins with small number of carbohydrates, hold cellular contents and control the passage of materials. When you are looking at the structure of nucleus in the cell, it acts like the brain of the cell. Dense protoplasmic body that contains hereditary information controlling cell activities as well as for transfer to next generation. It lies in median or central position. In mature plant cell, it lies towards periphery. In prokaryotes, nuclear membrane is absent. It is called nucleoid. Cells like red blood cell, sieve tube lack the nucleus. Cells without nucleus cannot survive for a long time. One nucleus, that is uninucleate, is present in most of the cells, but some cells may have more than one. That is called multinucleate. So a nucleus is made up of nuclear envelope, nuclear pores, nucleoplasm and nucleolus. Nucleus is enclosed by a double membrane. So chromosomes are found inside the nucleus. These are thread-like structures which are formed by condensation of chromatin during cell division are called chromosomes. They are referred to as hereditary vehicles. Chromosomes are made up of DNA and proteins. A chromosome consists of two similar threads called chromatids. Two chromatids are attached at the center by a centromere. On either side of the centromere, chromatids are called arms. Chromosome number is fixed for each species. In most organisms, they occur in homologous pair. In each pair, one chromosome belongs to father parent while other belongs to mother parent. Presence of two sets of chromosomes is called diploid, whereas presence of single set of chromosomes is called haploid. So nucleus contains all the genetic information not only for the cell but also the whole organism. It functions as control center of the cell as it controls cell metabolism and cell activities. Ribosomes are formed by nucleolus part of nucleus. Nucleus brings about cell differentiation by which a cell attains a specific structure and function. Division of nucleus is essential for a cell division. Reshuffling of chromosomes and changes in genes produce variations. To know the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, prokaryotes are a group of organisms that lack a cell nucleus or any other membrane-bound organelles. They differ from eukaryotes, which have a cell nucleus. Prokaryotes are the single-celled organisms such as bacteria and are roughly 1 micrometer in diameter. A eukaryote is an organism whose cells contain complex structures inside the membranes. The defining member-bound structure that sets eukaryotic cells apart from prokaryotic cells in the nucleus or nuclear membrane within which genetic material is carried. Prokaryotes do not have a nucleus that houses its genetic material. It consists of a large DNA molecule compacted in an area of cytoplasm called nucleoid region. The nucleoid region is protected and encased by a cell wall or cell membrane, the outer layering of the cell. Finally, flagellum, a rudder-like device, affords the prokaryote the luxury of mobility. So you can have a look at the differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Prokaryotes are small in size, about 1 to 10 micrometer. Organized nucleus is absent here. A single DNA molecule is present suspended in cytoplasm. So nucleolus is absent. Membrane-bound cell organelles are absent. Typical vacuoles are absent. Mitosis is absent. For example, the examples for prokaryotes are bacteria and cyanobacteria. Eukaryotes are larger in size, about 5 to 100 micrometer. Organized nucleus is present with nuclear envelope, nucleolus is present, several DNA molecules are present. Membrane-bound cell organelles are present. Typical vacuoles are present. Mitosis is present. So examples for eukaryotes are plants, animals and fungi. You are looking at a structure of an animal cell. So cytoplasm, the contents of a cell except for the nucleus. It includes cytosol, organelles, vesicles and the cytoskeleton. Cytoplasm has two parts, cytosol and cell organelles. Cytosol is a fluid part of cytoplasm, homogeneous and crystallocolloidal liquid that contains substances like water, ions, enzymes, vitamins, amino acids, carbohydrates, lipids and proteins. Cell organelles, so submicroscopic structure which are specialized to perform specific cellular functions. Cell organelles may be bounded by membrane as in eukaryotes, but prokaryotes lack membrane-bound organelles. Virus lack cytoplasm as well as membrane. The endoplasmic reticulum is a network of interconnecting membranes distributed throughout the cytoplasm. The internal compartment, called the lumen, is a separate part of the cell with a distinct protein and ion composition. The endoplasmic reticulum its folding generates a surface area much greater than that of the plasma membrane. At certain sites, the endoplasmic reticulum membrane is continuous with the outer nuclear envelope membrane. Depending on the presence or absence of ribosomes on the surface, there are of two types: rough endoplasmic reticulum and smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is characterized by the presence of ribosomes on its surface, whereas smooth endoplasmic reticulum is devoid of ribosomes on its surface. So you are having the look at the endoplasmic reticulum. So functions of endoplasmic reticulum. First one is the protein synthesis. Rough endoplasmic reticulum is the site of protein synthesis and also lipid synthesis. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum helps in lipid synthesis. Protein and lipids synthesized on endoplasmic reticulum are used for making cell membrane. It helps in transportation in intercellular and intracellular transport of some substances. It gives internal support to the cytoplasm. Smooth endoplasmic reticulum in liver cells take part in detoxifying many poisons and drugs. In smooth endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes are absent, synthesize lipids and steroids, mainly formed of vesicles and tubules. Rough endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes are present, synthesize proteins and is formed of cisternae. Coming to the structure of Golgi complex is an organelle of membrane-bound sacs, tubules and vesicles secrete complex biochemicals. Golgi is a single complex in animal cells. In plants, they form separate units called dictyosomes. Membrane-bound sacs of Golgi are called cisternae. Cisternae occurs in stacks, tubes and vesicles occur in their periphery. Coming to the functions of the Golgi complex, Golgi apparatus is involved in repair and synthesis of cell membranes. Lysosomes are formed by Golgi apparatus. All types of substances which are to be secreted or excreted are packed in vesicles by Golgi apparatus for passage to the outside. Takes part in storage, modification and packaging of various biochemical produced by different components of cell. Components of cell wall are synthesized by Golgi apparatus. Complex and special sugars are made by Golgi apparatus. You are looking at the structure of lysosomes. Lysosomes generally found in the animal cells, they lack in plant cell. They are small spherical vesicles covered by single membrane, contain digestive enzymes for intracellular digestion and waste disposal. These enzymes are synthesized by rough endoplasmic reticulum. In damaged cell, lysosomes burst to release enzymes for digestion of cellular components. So, function of lysosomes, it destructs foreign particles, helps in intracellular digestion, helps in removal of cell debris. It is the time of metamorphosis. Organs are digested by lysosomes. Coming to the structure of mitochondria, it is rod-shaped cell organelle of aerobic eukaryotes which take part in the Krebs cycle. Commonly called powerhouse of the cell because they contain enzymes necessary for total oxidation of food and for release of high amount of energy in the form of adenosine triphosphate. It is bounded by two membranes, that is outer membrane is smooth and porous while inner membrane is folded inwards to form a cristae. Cristae contains oxysomes. They are particularly embedded in inner membrane. Mitochondria enclose a matrix having DNA, ribosomes and enzymes. DNA and ribosomes make the mitochondria semi-autonomous as they are able to manufacture some of their own proteins and enzymes. So this is the structure of mitochondria. You can see the labels matrix, cristae, inner membrane and outer membrane. So lysosomes are called suicide bags of the cell. Coming to the plastids, these are large cell organelles found only in plant cells which are specialized to synthesize and store organic substances. Plastids are classified on the basis of pigment present in them. There are of two types, leucoplasts and chromoplasts. Leucoplasts are colorless, cylindrical to round in shape, found in unexposed cells, take part in storage of food, can change to other types. Whereas chromoplasts, they are brown or reddish in color, irregular in shape. They are present in exposed as well as unexposed cell, do not store the food, provide coloration of organs. So chloroplast is called the kitchen of the cell. It is bounded by two membranes. Inside of chloroplast is clearly marked into a colorless matrix called stroma and membranous system called grana. Each granum consists of a stack of membrane-bounded flat-end sacs called thylakoids. Thylakoid pigments like chlorophyll, carotenoids, and phycobilins. Stroma contains enzymes for dark reaction, DNA, RNA, and ribosomes. Later, make the chloroplast semi-autonomous. The functions of the plastids. Chromoplasts provide color to fruits and flowers and attract the animals to help in pollination and fruit dispersal. Leucoplasts take part in the storage of protein, starch, and oil. Chloroplasts trap solar energy to manufacture food through photosynthesis. Oxygen is being consumed in the combustion and respiration. Carbon dioxide is being produced in two processes. Chloroplasts maintain the balance of the two gases by absorbing carbon dioxide and oxygen in photosynthesis. So coming to the structure of ribosomes, so it is the protein factory of the cell. Ribosomes are small rounded bodies found either in free state in the cytoplasm or attached to the surface of endoplasmic reticulum. They are composed of ribonucleic acid, RNA, and proteins. They are not bounded by a membrane. They are present in both prokaryotes and eukaryotes. Absent in mammalian red blood cells, ribosomes are the site of protein synthesis in the cell. Coming to the centrosome, it is also called a central apparatus. It is a small naked organelle present near the nucleus in the cells of animals and some lower plants. It has sheath of special cytoplasm called centrosphere. It encloses two microcylinders called centrioles. Two centrioles, they are at right angles to each other. It has 9 triplet fibrils present obliquely on the periphery. They form astral spindle fibers and produce basal bodies that form cilia and flagella. So vacuoles are called the storehouse of the cell. Membrane-bound non-cytoplasmic sacs that contain non-living solid or liquid contents. There are of three types: sap vacuoles, food vacuoles, and contractile vacuoles. Covering membrane or sap vacuole is called tonoplast. The fluid-filled content of the vacuole is called cell sap or tonoplasm. Recently, some digestive enzymes are reported in vacuole of plant cell. You can look at the structure of a vacuole here. So your learning the differences between plant cell and animal cell. In plant cell, cell wall is present, plastids are present, centrioles and centrosomes are absent, vacuoles are large and less in number, nucleus lie on one side, cell is rigid, Golgi contains dictyosomes, larger in size, and starch is stored. Whereas animal cell wall is absent, plastids are absent, centrioles and centrosomes are present, vacuoles are small and more in number, nucleus lies in the center, cell is flexible, Golgi is in the form of vesicles, it is smaller in size, glycogen is stored. Here you have to draw the diagram.
Microscope. Eyepiece. Lenses. Stage. Light. Light. In order to see anything in the world, you require light. By throwing light on an object, you can easily make out minute details. This is also true on the microscopic levels and why specimens must be mounted onto glass. The light source is normally below the stage. Stage. The stage is where you place the specimen that you want to examine. The glass plate with the specimen on it is mounted onto the stage with the help of slide clips. The bottom of the stage has a hole which allows light to pass through it and light up the specimen. All mechanical stages can move front and back on the x-axis and sideways on the y-axis, so you can focus on different parts of what you are looking at. Lenses. The lenses of a microscope are its most important part. The lenses that are mounted above the specimen at the bottom of the body are the objective lenses. Most microscopes have two or more of these lenses that revolve, so you can adjust the magnification by simply turning the lens turret. The eyepiece through which you look at your specimen rests on top of the microscope. These binocular lenses have adjustable magnifications, usually less than the objective lenses. The eyepieces can magnify a specimen up to 10 times, and the objective lenses can magnify it another 100 times. This means that you are seeing objects magnified 1,000 times. Electron microscopes. In the early 1900s, people began to understand how to manipulate electrons. Experiments with these tiny particles led to the realization that they could use them to see microscopic things in atomic detail with an electron microscope. An electron microscope shoots a steady beam of electrons onto a specimen. These electrons will bounce back where they are detected by a sensor. The sensor makes an image by reading the time it took for the electrons to return. Using this technique, scientists are able to achieve resolutions of 1 million times.
After studying the structure and functions of different cell organelles, we will take up the two very important processes called diffusion and osmosis concerned to the cell wall or cell membrane. See, when we take the function of the cell membrane or cell wall, so there are two processes, namely diffusion and osmosis, which will be playing important role. See, what is diffusion? So diffusion is the movement of molecules from their higher concentration to their lower concentration. So this takes place in certain lower organisms like amoeba. So in amoeba, substances move from outside environment to inside the cell, or from the cell, the substances move out of the cell through a simple process called diffusion, where substances like water move from their higher concentration substances move from one cell to another cell in a complex organism where there is a cell membrane. So cell membrane, it shows one special property called semi-permeability. It selectively permits the flow of certain substances from one cell to another cell, or from outside environment to inside the cell, and from the cell to outside environment. So this selective permeability character of that cell membrane acts here as a very important thing. So this osmosis is learned by three instances. So let us see which are those three instances where we can learn the process of osmosis. Three processes involved with the cell wall and cell membrane. So here they have shown three instances to know more about the process of osmosis. See, when the cell consisting of the cell membrane is kept inside the hypotonic solution. See, what is this hypotonic solution? See, solution means the mixture of solute and solvent. Here the solute concentration is very low and water concentration is more, means that solution is considered as hypotonic solution. See, you take a hypotonic solution inside the beaker. So you keep a cell inside that, or you can imagine the dry grapes soaked inside the water. So what happens to the dry grapes after soaking in the water? So few minutes afterwards, so it gets swelled up. So similarly, the cells get swelled up. So what is the reason for this? So that is nothing but the endosmosis. The water from outside the cell moves inside the cell and makes it to get bulge. So here in the hypotonic solution, so water concentration is more and solute is less. The water concentration outside the cell is more when compared to the concentration of water inside the cell. So the water moves inside the cell, making it to get bulge. Whereas the solute is more less in the water medium. So when compared to the solute inside the cell